Just in general about our set of examples, we like to try to include as much information as we can that's available for people to be able to get started and be successful. That includes having access to support as well as myself to be able to work through any issues that come up throughout the entire process. We've got a couple of SDKs and examples. You'll find that on our website. The SDKs are great for jumping off points and for getting everything started, as well as the Postman collection, which is kept very up to date. So that Postman collection is going to be a very, very helpful tool going forward. So we're happy to provide all this information after the call if it hasn't already been provided in our emails going forward. So one of the things that's pretty common that people ask about is how to generate your API keys. Once you've created the account, we've got two different environments that you can create the account in. We've got our eval environment, which you can use with unlimited use. Of course, we do wipe that periodically, especially when it's unused for some time. In both these processes, it's the same in production and in eval. So in production and eval, you'll have the once you log in on the left hand side, you'll have the API option, which will take you to the screen that you see in the middle, and you'll be able to just click on add and to add app, and that'll create a new key that'll give you the client ID, the secret, and the basic authorization token. Naming these keys is going to be important in order, especially if you're using various keys for different types of integrations that you've built. So just the common generation token that we see, we see two different ones, with the third one being an optional one that comes up as well. The first one is just using your email and password along with your API key. This is a very common first step in order to do your generation, and that's going to be something that gets used. Originally you'll get a refresh token, which can be used going forward if you don't plan on storing the email and password within your application. I always suggest using that going forward. The refresh token will last up to 15 days after the expiration of your authorization token. So that access token will expire if you don't set a date. It'll be 30 days. And so you have 15 days after that to use the refresh token and generate a new access token, a new refresh token. The other option is in situations where you build an application where you expect the user to give you access to their account to send on their behalf. In these cases, you'll create a URL using your client ID and a redirect, and in the response after they've authorized you into their account, you'll get a code, and you'll use that code in place of the username and password. And at that point, you'll be able to generate an access token and a refresh token and use that refresh token just like before, 15 days after the 30-day mark for the expiration of that access token. And the most common used method for getting something signed is to send an email invitation out. These sets of invitations are very customizable in our branding. So we'll cover where you can find information on the branding a little bit later. But in general, what you'll do is you'll upload a document, you'll prepare it, and then you'll send an emailed invitation out. And this is a bare bones version of that. There is a lot of optional fields that are not included here just for posterity, but for the most part, what you'll want to do is you can customize the message and body, subject and body of the emails that go out per person that's signing it, as well as set automated reminders, add two-step authentication, whether that be with a phone number or a custom password, And there's a couple of additional options for the branding on being able to cover different languages as well as colors and logos. So we've got our second most used, which is the embedded signing. That's when you basically want your users to come to your site and you want to control the entire process. So this would be inside of an iframe, and the users will be able to sign on your website and be able to be redirected and close that iframe. The initial portion is still uploading a document and preparing. And once that's set up, you'll be able to do an invite call and then create links for those individual signers, if you've got more than one, using their field invite ID, which you'll get during your setup process. The links last for a maximum of 45 minutes. So you'll want to generate these once they get to the site, and you'll want to provide some kind of identifier. If you already have them log in, you'll already know who the user is. But if you're redirecting them, let's say from an email that you sent out, you'll want to have some kind of unique identification for when they get to your site, and you can present them the correct signing session. And then lastly, the event subscriptions are just notifications that you'll get throughout the entire process. The most common use is on completion, meaning you'll use a dot complete. In this specific case, we're showing a user level for completed documents, meaning you'll get notifications on any document that hits that complete status within this user account. And in this case, the entity ID is going to be the user ID. We also have these webhooks on the document level, in which case it'll lose the user dot at the beginning of this. So it'll be the event will be just document.complete, and the entity ID will switch. Instead of being the user ID, it'll be the document ID. This is really useful not only for the complete, but we also have an open that lets you know when the document's been opened. If the document hits expiration, there's a .expire that you can set as well to get notifications. That way, if something does hit that expiration, whether that be an embedded invite or an emailed invite, you'll know which documents expired, and you can set up automation based on that expiration or that completion. The most common completion one is if a document hits being completed, either downloading a copy of that document with the history, or if there are next steps, such as if you're doing onboarding, whatever the in-person next steps are, or any requirements that are needed there to prepare them for, let's say, their first day of work.